that early hustle of trying to get those first 25 and then 50 weddings, what did that look like? How are you getting these people to come in early on?
Well, it's like I have a saying, and it's been no more prudent in the last year or so. I've always, because look, I can't compare myself with people that have done that from childhood, or been hungry as a kid and always living week to week, because that's not true. Like, the first 12 years of my life, we were, I wouldn't call us rich, but we were just comfortable and lived an incredible life.
Sure.
And then it became difficult. But what I always say to photographers, like, pretend like you're hungry,
Yeah.
not that you're full. You got to
Yeah.
pretend like you're hungry, because maybe one day you will be. And now, of course, it's happened. Everyone's like, well, shit, where's my next meal coming from? So for me, even if I'm full, metaphorically, I ask myself, what am I doing for the next meal? No matter how comfortable I am. And back then, it was literal too. It wasn't just metaphoric. I'm like, I don't want to go hungry ever again. I don't want to be sitting there being weak because I can't play squash, and I can't beat my brother because I've got no food in my belly. That's
Yeah.
just, no child should have to really go through that. And I'm one of the lucky ones, let's face it. So the hustle and that was very logical to me, for me, because I am a people person and I was a people person. Back then it was, well, let me find one degree of separation between me and the people that already have the work that I want. Because I was at the back
Mm.
of the chicken shop, bricks and mortar wasn't going to cut it. You are not going to pass by that street and see a sign and book a photographer for a nondescript red brick location that has no photographs and not even a window,
For
because
sure.
we had covered it up. So so that's when I literally just, did my pretend wedding. And now the pretend wedding that I did, I found a dressmaker that I thought had the kind of demographic that I wanted: a suit place, a church, a car place, a florist, cake place. I went out there and did a pretend shoot. And there was no social media back then. So I'm like, hey, if you got help me out, and I'll create an album for every single one of you. I'll refer you, you refer me. Let's do it.
I want
Um,
everybody to listen to this because this is literally the playbook for building a styled shoot that networks you with vendors and creates images that your actual clients will hire you for.
it's insane to me that I literally am looking. I look at my students in the face and I'm like, well, what are you doing for you? What are you doing for on your business rather than in it? Says, what do you
Hmm.
mean? Well, what? How do you get in the work in? How do you getting? What is going to keep these wheels turning? And they just look at me. I'm like, well, SEO, Facebook, Instagram. I'm like, well, it's difficult to stand out, Jerry. I'm like, well, no. In a world that we think it's difficult to stand out, one human being decides to go to a coordinator or frame that beautiful print of that gorgeous dress that you photograph and sign it and deliver it by FedEx and say, thank you for thank you for your incredible dress. You actually make my photography look good. If you ever meet a bride that would appreciate great photography and a great experience, can you refer me, please? And if so, I'll give you joint usage of the photographs. If you need a stylized shoot, let me know. By the way, I heard your daughter's getting married. Can I photograph her wedding? Like, it's not that difficult. It's just people are going to get off their ass. It's as simple as that.
I mean, how
And
much
people
more
might
of a
say,
differentiator
you
do you
know,
feel like that is today when, like, because over the years, people's social skills have gotten 10 times worse. So I feel like just doing that by itself today is so dramatic in terms of being a differentiator.
it's look. And sorry for the innuendo, but the difference between porn and having sex, one is slightly amusing, the other one's a lot more fun. People are just metaphorically just happy with porn, and I'm like, well, let me just go do the real thing. Let me go out there and meet with people and have some fun. And people think, well, Jerry, it's okay for you because you're famous. No, like Pi, you and I are only arguably well known in the industry and a
And you're more well
segmented
known,
part of the
far more
industry.
well known than me. But yes, yes, inside of
No,
our
no. I
industry
mean,
only.
no, no, no. But you walk down the street and say, "Hey, I spoke with Pi today. I spoke with Jerry today," and they're going to say, "Who the fuck is?" Oh,
Yeah,
I
no,
said the word. Who the
nobody.
fuck is Jerry or Pi? They're not going to know. So, so what I'm getting at is that I have similar struggles just like everybody else. So when I came to Vegas, no one, no one knows who I am here. Zero
Yeah.
people. Now you might Google, good wedding photographers or best wedding photographer or whatever you might Google, and maybe I might come up. But I went to Town Square here in Vegas, and I noticed this bridal boutique that I'd never seen before. And I'm like, oh, I I looked. I did a double take, but there's this gorgeous woman in like literally just sitting there, but it was like a fishbowl. She could easily, clearly see that I was looking at her. And I'm like, how am I going to approach this woman? Because she probably thinks I'm coming onto her because she is intimidatingly gorgeous, right? So I'm like, all right. I walk in. Hey, I'm Jerry Ghionis. How are you? Oh, hi. I'm like, I'm a local photographer. My wife Melissa and I disarm her very quickly. I
Yeah.
lay the Australian accent thick, and I'm like, how you going, mate? How you going? I'm like, I love your dresses. I'd love to work with you. Are you the owner? She says, no. I said, well, tell me, can I meet the owner of the store? And she said, look, she'll be here tomorrow. Great. Tell me your time. I'll be back. So sure enough, I meet her. I bring the Darling book, the one that you showed me, right? The one that
Yeah.
that you got from me. I bring it with me. I um I show her some work and I talk about an idea and I said, "How about we work together? Let's develop a network. Let's do it." And she goes, "That sounds fantastic." Now she would probably think, "All right, great. You'll get in touch and let's work it out." I said, "Great. Let's book in a date right now." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Let's just get your calendar out. Let's book a time in 2 weeks. Let's do a shoot." And so we booked it. And then before I left, I signed something like, Sonia, can't wait to create with you. For the
Yeah.
love of weddings, Jerry Ghionis. Signed the book. She goes, oh my God, like I've got the boutique bag. I've got a signed book from this guy. He must be somebody, whatever. Then in 2 weeks, we did a shoot. We went to the dry lake bed, did some gorgeous shots. She got the retouched images within a week. Within 2 weeks after, she had some graphic studio wall art hanging in every negative space in her store with printed brochures of her photographs of my contact details on one side and their contact details on the other side. Done. Next.
I love that. And I feel like today people have a tendency to overcomplicate the process, and they think of, I need to get thousands of people to follow me on social media, and I need to get, hundreds of thousands of likes and followers, and this is how I'm going to market. And they don't necessarily put the kind of pieces in place that, look, 100,000 people that are really not interested in, hiring you for your level of service is far less valuable than 10 people that are willing to. And by targeting that specific owner, that shop, that dressmaker, I mean, you're looking. I know you. I know you're looking for places that have dresses that can match the level of budget and product and experience that you would deliver. So,
Yeah.
the 100 people that come through there on a weekly basis are seeing all of your work, and that is not even arguably, that is 100% more valuable than a million people following you on social media.